Welcome everybody, and thank you for tuning in to our conversation today with our friends from Portswigger. My name is Greer Lynch. I'm VP of Marketing over at Reprise. We help companies like Portswigger demo their software with our AI-powered platform. I'm joined today by 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐒, Director of Technical Support and Sales Engineering, as well as Josh Spindler, Sales Engineer. Thank you and welcome both.
Thank you, Greer. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Before we dive in, can you share with the audience what Portswigger does and what are your respective roles at the company?
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So Portswigger is the web app security powerhouse behind Burp Suite and Burp Suite DAST. We create web application security testing tools and we push the research boundaries in this space. And our mission's pretty simple, yet fairly ambitious. We want to secure the world's web applications. My role is to lead our technical support and sales engineering efforts. Our technical support team is fairly mature, and we've recently been expanding our sales team and needed a sales engineering unit to go with that.
Yeah, I am Portswigger's first and at the minute only sales engineer. So it's my job here to really help us get our sales guys, helping them out with the technical side of the sale and really help getting the value of the products across to our customers and making sure they have successful proof of concepts and other things along that way. And I've also been involved in sort of spinning up the function and getting all the foundations in place.
Great. Now, Liam, I understand you've been at Portswigger for about 10 years. So you've witnessed this transformation from product-led growth to building out sales engineering. Can you talk a little bit about that and what's been the most surprising aspect of scaling a technical sales team around the globe?
Sure. Yeah, as you said, initially Portswigger's product, Burp Suite Professional, was designed for individual users, and we leveraged a product-led growth strategy. However, when we introduced Burp Suite DAST, formerly Burp Enterprise, to enable larger teams to perform scanning at scale, we recognized the need for a different sales approach. And this meant shifting to a sales motion tailored to enterprise customers. We expanded by hiring dedicated sales team members and subsequently building out a sales engineering group to support that new approach, which is where me and Josh came in. Yet selling to enterprise clients involves personalized demos and engagements, and yeah, it's a slightly different approach from the simpler self-service model that we had previously, which was aimed at penetration testers and security researchers. In terms of time zones, that's always a challenge, but yeah, it's one we're working to address, and yeah.
Great. Josh, so you were the first SE on the team, so you played a central role in building out the new demo strategy. Can you share more about your enterprise customers and why customized demos became really necessary? And were there any obstacles you faced along the way?
For sure. I mean, our customers span lots of different industries because they all want to keep their web apps secure. So we've got banking and insurance to tech companies to plenty of other things that I can't think of off the top of my head. But they all have different use cases and different ways they want to use Burp. So for example, we can integrate our products into CI pipelines. You can run scans through the console. We have a really powerful API. We have integrations with tools like Jira and Splunk and other tools as well. And so there's so much to show, and it's really important to make sure that the customer sees everything they need to in a demo to prove that the product does what it needs them to do. So we need to have these customized demos to really show them everything that they want to see. And in terms of the obstacles that we have, because there's just so much product to show off, and because having a demo environment pre-canned and pre-ready for all of that can be quite difficult to keep up and make sure it's working all the time and ready for everyone, no matter what use case they have. So it was important to have something which we could depend on for all those different use cases.
Okay, so then how does Reprise fit into the picture? When did you realize you needed a demo platform, and how did you run your evaluation, and what led you to working with Reprise?
So originally, when I became a sales engineer, I had pretty much 9 to 5 full of demos, one after another, and all those demos were like the same cookie cutter demos. And because they were all the same and so many demos, I didn't really have the chance to customize them for each customers and things like that. So the benefit of Reprise is that we can take all those initial demos, which are always the same, put them into a platform which can record everything we'd normally show, and then we can send them out to customers. That takes off a lot of the weight for a lot of those replicable demos all the time. But the other main benefit of Reprise is also the replicate functionality, which we're going to touch on in a bit, which means that we can also help maybe take some of the load off from more lower qualified proof of concepts and things like that too. So to sort of summarize what I'm saying is to take away the sort of cookie cutter demos and give more time for the more customers who are high qualified and need that more hands-on approach.
All right. Liam, I understand Portswigger now supports customers in more than 180 countries, and you recently opened an office in Atlanta. So how does this global expansion factor into your sales and demo strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. Supporting customers in 180 countries means our growth is truly global, and that brings opportunity and also responsibility. The recent opening of the Atlanta office is a key step in that journey for us. It gives us a strong foothold in the US with access to a deep talent pool for hiring and also a team that's closer both geographically and probably culturally to many of our customers. And yet time zones matter, as I touched on before. Meeting customers in their own working hours, it's not just a convenience. I think it really builds trust in what you can offer as a support function. And our sort of expanded presence allows us to run demos, respond to questions, facilitate POCs, and provide support without that lag. Yeah, it's about being present when it counts and tailoring our sales and support approach to match our customers' needs, really.
Okay, impressive growth. You mentioned time zones you have to be aware of. So Josh, how does Reprise help you support customers across these markets?
For sure. I mean, we have, as Liam said, customers in 180 countries, and with the UK, we have customers who are based in California, who are 8 hours behind us, and some based in Australia and New Zealand, who are, I don't even know, lots of hours ahead of us. And so it's difficult to find times which suit everyone. So with Reprise, it's much simpler now. We can always send out demos which have been pre-recorded or pre-captured, I should say, and send them out to customers and maybe reduce the need for those, like I mentioned at the start, those cookie cutter demos, which means that we can target more. And as well, we only opened the Atlanta office a couple of months ago. We took on Reprise like in December or something, so before the Atlanta office was spun up. So it's really helped us prior to that, and it's still helping us now.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit more about how you're specifically using our platform? So I know a lot of our customers turn to Reprise to help handle some of the challenges that come with demoing really complex technology like AI or other complex technology. So how are you using Reprise a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, during the proof of concept stages that we were running with the other sort of tools like Reprise, we found that a lot of them couldn't really handle the sort of thing that our product does. And that's because it's quite technical. And the things that Reprise allow us to capture, like for example, when you're scanning an application, there's lots of things that can go wrong. It's dependent on things like network connectivity and whether or not the application is behaving the same way as it did before, and also things like permissions to scanning particular applications. And so when you're doing a demonstration, you're doing all those things, there's lots of things that can go wrong, and also things take longer than they would do than you'd like to in a demo. So with Reprise, we can capture these things in advance, and we can go through a demo knowing that the results are going to be there at the end of the demo, showing what we wanted to show without having any sort of faux pas or having to scramble to find something which was working previously. So that scanning functionality is really quite complicated, but there's other things, as I mentioned before, like the CI integration and also the API. There's not really many ways that you can sort of mock that testing out. But with Reprise, we were able to capture screenshots in either web applications or desktop apps, things like Insomnia and Postman. We can capture those API requests and really mock that data that you'd see from the API and get that in customers' hands so they can see what they can do with that.
Okay. What kind of impact have you seen since you implemented Reprise?
Yeah, that's probably what I can answer, but just to the last question as well, I would say internal training with Reprise is just really amplified. So one of the responsibilities of tech support at Portswigger is to train new team members, and that can be from the finance team all the way up to new devs in our products, and having those Reprise videos and playbacks to share with them after a training session has been great. So just wanted to throw that in there. In terms of implementing Reprise, we've probably seen around a 50% reduction in live demos. There have been a few other initiatives we put in place, but yeah, it's the numbers really speak for themselves, and it means our prospects can explore the product on their own terms at their own pace. Of course, people are still going to want a live demo and to talk to sales and sales engineers, but that handover has really been useful, I think, as well. When a customer has been involved in a demo, they often want to talk to people internally, and to share that Reprise link is a nice win for us.
Great. I think those asynchronous, that ability to do the asynchronous demos is really helpful for as you're scaling globally, like you talked about. You did mention some of the live demos, so I understand that you're implementing our Replicate solution for live demos. Can you tell me a little bit about that transition and how you're planning to use it?
Yeah, well, we're going to be using Replicate for things like live demos and also for proof of concepts. But the thing with our products is that it can be deployed in a couple of ways. So you can either deploy it self-hosted or in our SaaS infrastructure. And during proof of concepts, we find that some customers either want to get going with self-hosted, but then that takes up time. And there's also dependencies on their side to get that up and running, and they might not be able to get it deployed properly and things like that. And so with Replicate, what we're going to be able to do is for those maybe lower qualified proof of concepts, rather than spending time getting them all deployed and making sure that everything's working okay on their side, we're going to be able to give them a full Replicate environment of our products, and then they'll be able to click around with it as though it is the actual product themselves. They wouldn't know that they're not actually using BERT beforehand, and it's going to be fully functional. So we're going to be able to give them that as a proof of concept environment rather than having to give them a license key and going around deploying it themselves.
Fabulous. It sounds like you've built a really strong team and strategy here. What's one piece of advice you would give to other sales and solutions engineers who are supporting, complex technical products in a global market like you are?
I mean, from my side, I think the most important piece of advice would be to automate most things that you can do. It'll save a lot of time out your calendar, and then you can spend that time to helping the more qualified customers and things like that too. I think automation, and certainly as well with the increase of AI, it's just keeping your eye out, seeing what's out there and see what can help you out.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think automation and prioritization is key. Making sure you're working on the most impactful things is always an issue for sales engineers, especially when resources are tight. So yeah, solutions like Reprise really help.
Well, excellent advice. Josh and Liam, thank you so much for being generous with your time and your insights here. For anyone in our audience who wants to continue this conversation or learn more about Portswigger, what's the best way to connect with you?
Well, in terms of connecting with Portswigger, we have a Discord server which you can join, and then there's a lot of people on there who'll be happy to talk about either web security or Burp Suite or anything else in general. And also, if you want to talk with me, I'm on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect on there.
Yeah, on top of that, I'd just say we've recently produced some webinars which we talk about how we see the future of AppSec, and also how our products are developing. So check out our YouTube channel. And yeah, same as Josh, I'm on LinkedIn. So if you've got anything to ask, let me know.
Wonderful. And for anyone looking to learn more about Reprise, you can find us over at reprise.com, or you can follow us on LinkedIn. Thanks again, Josh and Liam. Really appreciate you and your time.
Thanks, Greer.
Cheers.